I'm a busy mom of two.
I don't think enough has been really said about who she is and how amazing she was. It is hard to be in this world without her in it, and we miss her greatly.
His husband has confessed to killing his family, and he is now detained.
He is amazing. I can't tell you how wonderful he is.
How could he have done something like that to her? She told me, what if he has another woman?
So what you're doing now, let me ask you about the text with you and Charlotte. You talk about children, and he's got his own kids, and that makes you kind of uncomfortable because you'd like to have your own family. Put that in context for me.
He didn't have a wedding ring on his finger, and every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship.
He said, well, I don't want to get the police involved. I said, get the police involved in what?
To me, this case was definitely one of the most difficult cases I've ever worked. Right before the polygraph, I tell Chris,
right now, there's only one person in this room that knows what the truth is. And in about 5 minutes, there's going to be 2 of us.
Do you truly know everybody as well as you think you know them?
This video is going to review some of the interviews with law enforcement between Shanann Watt's friends and law enforcement. Particularly, we are going to listen to her best friend Christina Mechum's interview, as well as her friend and Thrive co-worker, and, well, Addie Maloney is Shanann's Thrive upline, Addie Maloney. Addie Maloney is currently a Thrive Lavelle millionaire. Some of the things that both Christina and Addie Maloney tell investigators about the days and weeks prior to Shanann and her girls Bella and Celeste going missing are very interesting. If you have not yet heard these interviews, or if you haven't heard them in a while, take a listen. You're going to pick up some very interesting facts.
Hello?
Hi, is this Christina?
Yes.
Hi, Christina. This is Officer James Frederick, Colorado PD. How are you?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm calling in reference to Shanann. And I was wondering if you had any information that you could give me.
So, hold on just a second. Let me... Hold on. Baby, where? Hold on. I'll go over. Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
So Shanann and Chris, so Shanann went on vacation she went on vacation for like 6 weeks to North Carolina. And everything was okay between them until he came back on the 5th week.
Okay.
Come be with them, to go be with them for a week. And he was different with her. He was cold to her. They normally, because I stayed with them last year for 2 months while she was in surgery. I had to have surgery, and
you had to have surgery, or she did?
I'm sorry?
You had to have surgery, or she did?
She did.
Okay.
She did. She had to have surgery, so I flew from Hawaii and stayed with her for 2 months.
Okay.
Helping her with the kids and everything in the house and whatnot. They were normally loving, caring. The first time that I really got to meet, Chris. They seem to have a good relationship. But fast forward to when he went back to North Carolina, she started calling me, telling me I don't recognize him. He's not talking to me. He's not touching me. He's not kissing me. He's pushing me away. He doesn't want anything to do with me. Little by little, they spoke. Little by little, they spoke, and things started coming out, and he said that he didn't want the baby. She's pregnant. She's 16 months pregnant.
Right,
16
so,
months pregnant.
one sec. She was telling you all this stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
She confided on me. We've been friends for 14 years.
Okay.
She confided on me a lot, and she could call me in the middle of the night because I'm 6 hours different from North Carolina.
Yep.
Chris
didn't want the baby?
Yes, that's what she said, that Chris did not want the baby.
Okay.
That he was scared, that he didn't want another baby, that just wanted to stay with the two girls. But things just started developing from there. Like, you know, he was not compatible. She texted me and she's like, he's saying we're not compatible anymore. I don't understand what that means, you know, because they were fine before she left. And he was alone for 5 weeks, and then he comes back and saying these things, right?
Yeah.
He said that that he couldn't do this anymore. Like, he wanted pretty much, like, he will say, no, I want to work on this, and I want to make things work, and then other days he's like, I'm done. I can't do this, you know. So she was struggling a lot, and that's something that she's not. She was really, really, really struggling with everything that was going on. But the last time that I spoke with her, they have talked. They have found out the sex of the baby, which was a boy, and she was super excited about it because he said, if I ever have a child, I just want a boy. I don't want another girl. So he thought that this was going to be good for them. And he said that he was willing to go into therapy with her. And she even told me that she had plans to go to Aspen for the weekend, this next weekend on Friday, with him to try to reconnect and try to make things work and find a common ground. If not, then she was done. Like, she couldn't fight if he was not going to fight for their marriage. It was very weird because this just came out of the blue to all of us. Like, when she told me the first time, I was like, what are you talking about? That's not Chris. That's not who he is. That just started doing things that didn't make no sense to me.
When was the last time you spoke with her?
I spoke with her on Saturday. Hold on, let me look at the time. I can go look. Yeah, it was Friday, the last time I talked to her, because she was in Arizona. And she had just landed from Arizona, and she wanted me to know the news of the sex of the baby, and that she had talked to Chris, and that they were going to try to work things out, and wanted to tell me about the plans that she had.
Okay.
That's the last time, because she was traveling after that, so I didn't bother her.
How often would you speak with her?
Every day.
And you haven't spoke with her since Friday because she was on her trip?
Yeah. Yeah, she was in training.
How would you describe their relationship?
She was in charge.
Okay.
She was the person in charge, and he followed through. She did what she wanted, but they seemed to be loving and caring, and they used to, be very lovey-dovey. So that's why when she started expressing herself that he wasn't anymore, that was kind of weird to me, because that's not him. He did mention to her that he was tired of not being able to even hang something on the wall, that his opinion didn't matter. that he wanted to stay in the things that will happen or whatnot. Like, because she normally is in charge. She normally is the one that keeps everything going, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he expressed that that's one of the reasons that, he didn't think that things were working out, that he was tired of that he didn't have any say.
And has she, so would you describe her, was she your best friend?
Yes, she's like my sister.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't have never stopped my life for 2 months for someone I didn't love.
I understand that.
I took my daughter with me. Last year, and I went and took care of her baby girls, took them to school. I was her right-hand person until she was healthy enough, and I left in October.
Do you think she would withhold information from you?
No, I think I was one of the first person that she spoke to about what was going on between Chris and her.
Okay.
She confided on me a lot.
So, she just started telling you this stuff within the last couple weeks, or has it been a couple months?
No, this just happened. When he went to North Carolina, she was blindsided completely. She's like, I don't understand what's going on. And I was like, I don't either, because you guys were just fine.
And did she ever say that they had any other issues in their marriage prior to this?
No.
Did she say if they fought a lot or argued, or if anything ever was physical, anything like that?
Nothing. They never went physical into each other. I mean, every marriage fights.
Right.
That's just part of human nature. But they pretty much keep it very civil because of the kids.
Okay.
I just, it makes no sense, everything that is going on right now. So very sure. Because he was always very, like, he put them first all the time.
He put the kids first?
All of them. Like, they were their world, He put them all first. He was in hat and feet for all of them. And all of a sudden, he was aggravated by the kids playing around him. He was getting, fussy with everyone. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to touch her. He didn't want to, she would text me and she would send me a picture saying, like, there's where he's at. He's in the other side of the couch. Like, he's on another couch. Like, he's not even touching me. He haven't even asked me how the baby's doing. He didn't want to know anything about it.
And this is all recent, huh?
Yes. Yeah. This just happened. Like whatever happened in those 5 weeks that he was by himself, he came back to her, another man. And that worries me, because that's not him. Even when Nikki went by the house, things didn't make sense to me at all, because it just, she said routine. She said routine, she's OCD. She has everything in order. She literally has a plan for everything. She's not a person to derive from those plans. Like, this is what she's going to do. This is what's going to happen. The kids have times they go to take naps. They, things go a certain way. She has a routine. Even what she wears, even the flip-flops that she wears, is a routine for her. The door is never, that latch on the door, 2 months that I was living there, that was never on. Only when they went to sleep. Like, literally went to sleep.
You're talking about on the front door?
Yes. Yes. Because when Nikki got there, she was on the phone, she was on the phone with me when she got there and couldn't really access the house and couldn't get a hold of Shanann. And she's like, Christina, I know you talk all the time with her. Have you heard from her? I was like, no, because it was the morning for me, right?
Right.
And I was going to catch up with her today because I knew she had just come back at 2 o'clock in the morning, from her trip. And I literally, okay, well, open the door, because it's a keypad and, she normally has the same keypad, number on it. Just open the door and you could check it out. And she tried, and the latch was on. And that latch is never on. Her flip-flops were right beside her door, which she never leaves without. Like, that's her flip-flops. Unless she wants to dress up, that is what she wears. And the latch was on, which doesn't make any sense to me because she comes in and out of that door every day. And, I mean, even, I just don't understand. I don't understand everything that's going on because nothing adds up. The routine was completely off. And that's not normal. In 2 months that I stayed with her, the routine never changed. It's always the same. And I tell you this, it's out of character for her to leave the house without her phone, without telling anyone anything, with the kids, without their important medicine, which is scare off. And if you ever go to her Facebook account, you'll notice that there was an issue back home about the kids' safety because of allergies and that they were not being taken care of properly. There was she is protective of those kids. And for her to leave the house without no security, no nothing, it's just completely out of character.
Did she ever say if they're having any financial trouble or anything like that?
She always commented that, that they had, that they struggle sometimes. She was working really hard on her business. And he was also working. She spent a lot because she kept giving into the business to be able to continue to grow, which she was. But I know that they struggle a little bit, but I don't know to what point.
Okay.
But I do know that they were struggling.
Did she ever say she had a plan on leaving him or anything like that? Or was she wanting to work on the marriage?
She wanted the marriage to work. Like, I was, she really did not understand what was going on, and I was the one telling her, I was like, listen, it's the first really big issue that you guys have ever had because I've not, never heard anything else from them before. And I told him, I was like, you just need to talk to him. You need to give him space. You need to, work things out. This is your marriage. This is your family. So we talked a lot about that because, she's Italian. She immediately would have said, something out of the blue, But
right.
She was more like, if he's not willing to work with our marriage, then our marriage is over. I can't fight for him without him. And the last time I talked to him, to her, she said he is willing to go to, therapy because I told him that therapy might be able to help you guys. To try to get things out of the chest because Chris is very, very quiet and he doesn't express his emotions. Like, you don't see many emotions from Chris. And, maybe that will help him out. And he said that he had agreed, but I haven't talked to Chris. I've never been close to Chris like that, so.
Right.
But I just know that if they had a fight while she was there, when she got there at 2 o'clock in the morning, the girls were woken up. You couldn't make a noise in that house. At night, because the girls are so light sleeper, even during the day. Like when I stayed there, I had to go on tippy toes to the bathroom, so I wouldn't creak the floor or the stairs or nothing. And forget about opening a garage early in the morning. We always had to kind of go around the side. I will go downstairs. Sometimes Chris was there, getting his food ready so he can get out the door, and he will go through the front door. Because we didn't want to wake up the kids.
So he didn't usually go out the garage in the mornings?
No. He will come home, and sometimes will come through the garage. He will come through the garage, but normally in the morning he will go through the front door.
Okay.
Because, just opening the garage door, or even turning the car, for me turning in the car, one day while I was there, we went to Vegas to a training together, and we had to leave like at wee hours, like at 3 o'clock in the morning. Even turning on that car in the morning, we were afraid that the kids were going to wake up.
Right.
And it wasn't in the garage; it was right outside the garage. So it's like right on top, so they will hear everything.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. It's completely. I know for sure she will not leave like that. And she would have never. She would have never lived like that. It's just something doesn't add up to me. From all the years that I know her, she's always been. You could rely on what she was going to do, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't think Chris has it on him. I think Chris is a good guy, so it's kind of hard for me to even imagine that he will hurt his family.
Right.
Especially those girls.
So he was an active father. Good.
Definitely. Yes. Very active father. Very caring, very loving, very attentive to them. He even took care of my daughter when I was gone for a couple of days. He's very, very, in that part, he was a good husband, he was a good father. That's why this changed into the kids not even wanting to be around him, wanting mommy, and him getting upset just by the kids playing. That's not him.
That all started with the marriage problems as well?
Yes. That all started all together when he went back to North Carolina after 5 weeks of being away from each other. I do not know what happened on those 5 weeks, but something changed in him, because that was not him. When he was telling me about everything that he was doing and the things he was saying, it just doesn't make any sense.
What's his name?
That was not him.
Okay.
That's a different Chris.
And
he even deleted his Facebook page. Why would you delete your Facebook page?
When did he do that?
Well, I just find out today, and one of the other girls said, "Oh, that's been like a week ago or so that he deleted his Facebook page."
So you're friends with Nikki?
I'm friends with Nikki and Cassie and Addie and Sam, and we are all a group of friends. Yes.
And do you guys all do the Laval thing together?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to remember, your name is on that vehicle.
Yeah.
Is there
That's how I
anything?
met the other.
Is there anything else that you can think of that I should know about?
What'd you say?
Is there anything else you can think of that I should know about?
I can't think of anything. It will be speculation. I can say that some people have come in and said, "Well, did he have someone else?" I've never saw anything like that. You know.
Do you know where she would go?
She will go to one of us. If she was ever going to leave, she will contact one of us. And I have called and contacted everyone that I know in Colorado.
Yeah.
And not Colorado. And no one has heard from her or know nothing of her. This is not her. She will plan things. She's not a person to just pick up things and go. This is a person that is meticulous, and she plans everything. She just doesn't go. And she knows that my house is always open. Always. Because I told her, it's like, if you ever need a break, you know, you can come over here. It's just hard to start all over here because, you know, it's expensive, you know?
Right.
To live in Hawaii. But she would have never leave. Not like that.
Okay.
Ever. That is not her. Doesn't matter how bad things were. She has rules. You know, she has a way of doing things.
Right. So if you hear from her or anything, obviously her and Chris, there's something going on in their marriage. If you come into contact with her for any reason or you hear anything, please have her contact us. We just want to make sure that she's safe. And, you know, we're not, let her know that we're not worried that she's gone or what she's doing. We just want to make sure that she's safe. As long as we can guarantee her safety, that's what our most important thing that we're looking out for is that she's safe. So if you hear from her, doesn't matter the time of day, I'll give you a phone number to call and have her contact us. Or if you hear from her, you can contact us. Would you do that for me?
Of course.
Okay. And so when you're ready, I'll give you a phone number.
Okay. What's the phone number?
720-652-4222. And that's to our dispatch center, and that's answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And just ask to speak with a Frederick officer, and one will call you.
Okay.
Our main concern is her safety, so.
652-4222.
Say it again.
720-652-4222.
That's correct. So, if you hear anything from her or are able to talk to her, either you call us or have her call us. We just want to make sure that she's safe, okay?
Okay.
And if there's anything that you can think of, this phone number that I called you from is our police department. During business hours, it's answered, so that's 8 to 5 Colorado time. Outside of that, it may not be answered. You can try to call it. Otherwise, you'll have to contact that dispatch number, and an officer will contact you.
Okay.
Okay? And if you think of...
All I know is that this is not her.
Right.
She'll never live like this. And she will never leave the kids like this. Like, it just won't happen. It's not her.
If you think of anything else that comes to mind, please don't hesitate to call us, okay?
Will do.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Hi, Addie. It's Officer James.
Hi.
Hi. So I was just calling to see if there's any information you can provide me that you think would be beneficial.
What I know, Shanann and I are really close friends, so she's confided in me a lot that things have been not so good between her and Chris.
Okay.
Last night night before last, it's all blurring to me because we've been traveling and I'm in different time zones.
Right.
So forgive me, but it was, I think, Saturday evening, Sunday evening. She shared that she was and she thought he might.
I'm sorry, your phone's breaking up.
Okay, sorry about that. She expressed on Sunday night that she was concerned that he was having an affair.
Okay. Was this just to you that she told you that to?
Me and Nikki and Cindy was there also. And we all kind of thought, no, there's no way that Chris would do that. They seemed like just such a perfect couple. But I also knew over the past couple of weeks, she's been really just trying to save her marriage because he's been saying things like he didn't want the baby. She had canceled their their gender reveal party. They were, getting a lot of friends together to reveal the gender of the baby, and she canceled that because he was just not there. He just was not wanting this baby. These are all just red flags for me right now.
She told you this personally?
I'm sorry?
She told you this personally?
Yes.
Okay. So I know that all you girls have been talking. So if you heard it from someone else, just kind of clue me into that so I don't write down in my report that she told you, and in fact, does that make sense? That she told you when someone else made sense.
It's hearsay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of what she told me, we were in a group this weekend.
Okay.
We were all together in Arizona.
Right.
So we were Cindy. It was Cassie, Cindy, Nikki, and I were all together.
Makes sense.
There's a lot of things that I told Sam. I'm trying to think who you've spoken to. So Sam and Christina, but
yeah, Sam, Christina, Cindy. I'm trying to think who else.
Yeah, she was getting to the point where she was telling, she hadn't really told anybody except for me and Nikki and Cassie prior to this weekend, and then this weekend she shared with Cindy, and Sam wasn't there. Cindy and I clued Sam in on what was going on.
When did she tell you that they're started having struggles with their marriage?
This was about 2 weeks ago. If you have her phone, our entire conversation, we have a huge text string about it. If you have her phone, you can pretty much see everything that she told me. There were things that we talked about one-on-one too, but pretty much everything is in the messages.
So when you guys would communicate, was it usually through text messages or over the phone?
Text messages mostly, and over the phone, and then we saw each other this weekend in person.
Okay. Did she tell you anything in person that she didn't tell you over to text messages?
Let me think. Yeah, about him cheating. This was on Sunday night. My flight got canceled, so we ended up being there an extra night in Arizona. We went out to dinner, and as soon as she walked in to meet me, she just looked very sad. And she said, "All right, tell me what you think of this." I found, she said, he went to the baseball game with friends.
Was that the Rockies game?
Told her. The Rockies game, yeah.
So Chris told her he went to the Rockies?
Correct, with friends, a group of guys.
Okay.
And then he was out late, and she knew this because she was communicating with the babysitter that he had hired to go out while, she was away. So she was checking in with the babysitter, so she knew his timeline and when he got home and everything. So what he told her was that he went to eat. He went to get something to eat after, and he said he specifically told her that he had a beer and a salmon dinner. But the bill was $62. And she thought that was a little suspicious, so she asked us what we thought. Did we think that salmon dinner and a beer could have been $62, or was he with somebody?
And she saw that on their bank accounts?
I'm sorry?
She saw that on their bank statements?
No, he actually told her what he spent. And I think they just communicate like that about money because she handles everything in the money. Because that's what I was like, why? They said, well, it's kind of weird that he would just tell you exactly what he what he bought. And she's like, no, he does that all the time. Like, I kind of thought he was maybe justifying what he had, you know, trying to cover up something. And she said, no, it's not unusual for him to tell me because she just handles all the money and they're, you know, trying to watch their spending is how she explained it to Nikki and I. And I said, well, I guess maybe he bought one of the guys in a beer because, yeah, that $62 seems a little high for salmon and a beer. So maybe he bought somebody something. But she thought, she was suspicious that he was out with somebody.
Okay.
Up until then, she's been like, we've all been like, there's no way. She said, because if you look through the text messages, when she first started telling me this, I was like, when she first started telling me about him not wanting the baby and him being weird to her and something's wrong, she couldn't figure it out. He wouldn't tell her what was going on except for, it's nothing that you did, it's me. And I said, you go through his phone. Like, go through his phone and see if he's talking to somebody. And she said, he's been deleting messages. She said he was deleting, she told me through a text that he was even deleting text messages with his dad because she had a falling out with his parents.
While she was in North Carolina?
Yes.
What was the falling out about?
The falling out was about, she was out there visiting for 4 weeks. Both of their families are in North Carolina. She went and took the 2 kids out there, and Chris stayed home in Colorado. There was an issue with her youngest daughter has a severe tree nut allergy, and Chris's mom had essentially exposed her to the tree nut allergy. Nothing happened, but she was very upset that she had put her in the position where, you know, she could have, it was pistachio ice cream, and the Chris's mother gave one of the cousins pistachio ice cream, and Cece was crying for it because she wanted it too. And they had a falling out over that because, you know, Shanann felt that she should have, you know, chosen another flavor of ice cream to bring home to the house to feed these kids.
So Shanann had a falling out with mom or dad?
Well, that was with mom. She loved Chris's dad. But I think the whole thing just escalated to both of the parents, both of Chris's parents just being upset with Shanann. And they didn't come to they didn't come to Cece's birthday party.
Which was in North Carolina?
Which was in North Carolina. Shanann threw a birthday party, and Chris's parents did not come because they were upset with Shanann. And they also unfriended them on Facebook, both of them, Chris and Shanann. And I think Chris was upset, and this is, I don't know this for a fact. These are all things I was like, well, maybe he's upset with you because of the falling out with your parents. And she said that he did feel that she caused the problem between him and his dad is his hero.
Dad is Chris's hero?
Yes.
And Chris felt Shanann caused the problem?
I believe so, yeah. That's what Shanann felt.
Shanann felt Chris thought?
Yes. Shanann felt that Chris felt that Shanann caused a problem between his dad. He specifically said his dad, but really, you know, both of his parents, but he's closer with his dad. I think he and his mom, you know, had some issues along the way too, but he was always close with his dad. And then Chris deleted his Facebook last Thursday.
Were you friends with him on Facebook?
Yes. And the way I know that he deleted his Facebook is because she texted me on Thursday, last Thursday, and said that she had suggested that they do a weekend together to help to, you know, center and work on things. And he said no at first, but then when they found out that the baby was a boy, he seemed to come around a little bit because he said she told me that he told her the only reason he wanted to get pregnant is because he really wanted a boy. When they ended up finding out it was a boy, he seemed to, like he was opening up with her a little bit. Things were getting a little bit better. So they were going to go away on a weekend together. So I remember her texting me and saying, 1 minute he's saying we're going to go on the weekend away together. The next minute he's shutting down his Facebook. And I didn't ask this. I wish I would have, but I was kind of thinking, well, what's the correlation in that? But I think what she meant was, 1 minute he seems to be normal Chris, and then the next minute he's shutting down his Facebook, which is a strange thing to do, particularly in our business. Our social media is a huge part of what we do, and Chris is a part of that as well.
As far as her business goes?
Yeah. So it's a very strange thing to go off of. It might not seem that way, to some people, but just because of how relevant Facebook and social media is to our business. So when I said, well, why did he delete Facebook? She said he just said he needed a break from it, which is, it's not the strangest thing, but he's never done that before. I've been friends with them for about 3 years.
And you know her through her business? Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, we met. She's part of my team in our company, and we've become really close friends. We've been on multiple trips together with her and Chris. Hearing that he had been acting this way and that things were not good between them was a huge, huge shock to me 2 weeks ago when she shared that, because they just seemed like the perfect couple, and it seemed that he adored her. But the things that he was saying, like he didn't want the baby, and that he said to her that they just don't communicate well anymore. And that it wasn't really anything specific that she did, because we were trying to figure out, because she's a really, really hard worker, and we thought maybe it was because she was giving more attention to our business than to the relationship, and we thought maybe that was it, and he said, no, it's not that. But he wouldn't say what it was. She couldn't get it out of him.
Chris wouldn't tell her what was wrong with the relationship?
As far as what she told me, that's right. She definitely seemed, she was very anxious to get home, because she really wanted to get home and see how he was doing, because before she left for Arizona was when he started to come around a little and seemed like maybe he was willing to work things out. And she told him that she didn't want to go to Arizona. She wanted to stay home and work things out with him. And he said, no, just go, because she had the kids by herself for 6 weeks. So he said, go ahead and get away. Plus it was a business training too, but it was just something he was saying, go ahead and go and enjoy yourself in the training, and we'll talk when you get back. So she was really anxious to get back when all the bad weather was happening with the flights and everything. She was super nervous that she wasn't going to get back to be able to talk with him and work things out. And she was looking forward to this coming weekend when they were supposed to go away.
Do you know where they're going to go?
I don't think she ever specifically told me where they were going, and if she did, I just don't remember. She may have told one of the other girls.
Okay. Did she say what they're going to do with the kids?
I believe Nikki was going to watch the kids.
Okay. Is there anything?
I'm not 100% on that.
Okay. Is there anything else that stands out to you that you think I should know about?
I mean, that's the major stuff. Is there anything that you, like, do you guys have any idea what could have happened to her?
As of right now, we don't.
It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, I know what's really relevant. She never would have left the kids' car seat, the kids, Cece's medicine that she takes every day. She would never have gone off without it, or her phone. But the phone, maybe she needed to disconnect from the world. You could say that, but she would never, ever take those kids without everything that they needed. She's the best mom that I know. She's literally the most organized. If you were in her house, if you were in there, you know what I'm talking about. The most organized, planning everything. There's no way that she would not have taken the car seats, the medicine, and, packed for them if she just was trying to get away.
Okay.
Because I think that's what, I don't know what the different possibilities are, but one would be that she just left, and I just can't see that being anything that she would do, because I'm sure you can tell how many people love her, but I don't think I know that she wouldn't leave the children's things. I just know. There's no way. Best mom.
Okay.
Best freaking mom. And he's always been a great dad. Like, this is why this is just so, it's just so alarming. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I just hope that we find her.
Well, we're doing everything we can to locate her.
Okay, so has she officially been, I know that there was like the talk of it needs to be 24 hours of being missing. Are we past that and actually filing a missing persons? And
so we've been investigating it since we got the call.
Uh-huh.
So, and we're going to continue to investigate it. So, the 24 hours is kind of irrelevant because we are investigating it.
Okay.
We're just trying to track down. You have no idea where she may go to?
No, because the only place that the only person that she really confided in that lives there. I live in Maryland. The only person that's local that she confided in that I know of is Nikki.
Okay.
So and Nikki was the one that dropped her off from the airport. So if she was needing to get out, she wouldn't call anybody else at 2, 3, 4 in the morning other than Nikki, because Nikki's already up.
Right.
So and other than that, I mean, I don't know where she would go. Because
do you know if she had a lot of
character.
Do you know if she has a lot of friends outside of your guys' business here?
She does not. She has, the thing about it is they've lived in Colorado for a while, but not a super long time to where they've created a lot of friends. So most of the people that she is friends with has been through our business.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how long they've lived in Colorado. They're definitely not like new to Colorado or anything, but I know when we were planning, she and I planned a big event there for our company, and I remember her saying, like, I just don't have a lot of people here. Like, her people are back in North Carolina, where she's, originally from. She knows people through the school. She's got a friend, Amanda, who used to be the director at the kids' school. She's friends. She does a lot of play dates with different moms. but it's not close friendships. It's just, play dates and that kind of thing. And then there's another friend, Karen. Karen actually was with us in Arizona too, but she's not one of our close friends, so we didn't really talk about we didn't talk about the Chris situation at all with Karen because she didn't know.
Okay. She lives in Colorado too.
I'm sorry, in Arizona with us. But yes, Karen lives in Colorado. But no close friendships. Christina is one of Shanann's best friends, but she lives in Hawaii.
Okay. If you hear from Shanann at all, try and figure out where she's at. Let her know that we're looking for her and for her to call us and that she's not in any trouble or anything. And if you do hear from her, I want you to call us as well. You can just call that number that you've been calling that we playing phone tag on, that dispatch number.
Yep. Of course,
you can just call that because that number is answered 24/7.
Okay.
So just continue to call that number with any information.
Okay.
If anything else comes to mind, give us a call.
Something does come to mind. Chris told me that the neighbor has a security camera that is pointed to their house.
Okay.
So that security camera, Chris had said that they, I don't know who he meant by they, I don't know if he meant you guys or he and the neighbor, but he said that there was no sign of her coming or going per that video surveillance. So there could be, something that's on there that's definitely important and relevant if you don't have that already.
Okay. All right. If you can think of anything else, just give us a call, okay?
Thank you so much for being on top of this. If you need anything, give me a call.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Addie, spell your last name for me.
Mm-hmm. It's Maloney, Molony.
Okie dokie. I appreciate it. And this is your cell phone number, right?